Welcome back in the garden with Clinton again. We've got today we're just going to discuss a little bit more about irrigation of your strawberry plants. It's a really important component to any sort of veggie garden and stuff like that. Is your irrigation is just so critical. So we've sort of decided, well, let's spend a little bit of time and get that part of it right. We've been through the process. Your bed's all prepared. You've got your plant in. Now you've got to water your plant. One of the most crucial things that the plant's going to need over its lifetime is the water. Now, we have a tendency, any sort of person has a tendency to just chuck the hose on and water them over the top. And look, it's going to do a job, and that's fine. But you need to be starting to look at your plant and starting to work out when it needs water and then applying that water appropriately to that plant. If you want to be really, really finicky and that stuff over time, you want to get nice produce like that, that's the sort of stuff you need to start doing, okay? Like if you're going to come out there and blast it with the hose and things like that, you're just going to have problems with your leaves and your plants and overwatering, poor root development, leaf diseases and other problems, and you're just going to create problems for yourself. So one of the best things you can do is coming out and before you water is to assess your plants and what they need. At the moment, you'd look at this plant and say it doesn't need any water. It's quite happy and healthy. The leaves are cool to touch. It doesn't need water at this stage. And then next stage would be to have a look in the soil and feel it yourself. This soil feels nice and cool and it's got a nice little moisture component to it. It's not wet, but it's sort of moist enough that it'll clump up. So at the moment, I probably wouldn't worry about watering this plant. However, given that we've just planted it and stuff, you want to reduce a bit of stress. I just give it a little bit of water and try and get that water as much as you can just around the base of the plant. Ideally, in a lot of situations, and especially in commercial, you see everyone's going towards drip irrigation. That is the preferred method. And the reason because of that is that you're not getting water on the leaves. Super important, that one over time, is that when you're keeping the leaf wet, it's a real problem for growing fungus and other problems that can potentially cause collapse of the plant and everything else. So where you can, try and get the water underneath the plant. That might be from using like a little watering can. It's a little bit more targeted around underneath. As the plant gets a bit bigger, you can sort of water around the edges and stuff, which will encourage the roots to grow out a bit more anyway. But definitely, like where you can, try and restrict that kind of watering over the top. In terms of how often to irrigate your plants and things like that, it comes down to looking and understanding what your plant's doing. So getting used to how your plant looks. The plant will, when it's starting to get too dry, they will slowly start to wilt. So that's definitely an indicator that you've gone too far. And you want to get to that, point, almost to that point, before you irrigate again. And the idea there is that you're going to give that soil profile enough time to dry out. It's going to give your roots an opportunity to go searching for that water a bit more. And that's going to help you build a lot more robust plant, but also like a lot bigger root system. So if you do come into situations where you have stressful periods and stuff, you've got a much stronger and healthier plant that's going to be able to deal with those. Whereas if you water your plant all the time and keep it too wet all the time, what's going to happen is it gets really lazy, and those roots will stay really close around the base of that plant and not expand out looking for water and looking for nutrients. So, that might be fine while your weather conditions are nice and cool and humid and stuff. But all of a sudden you'll get, like we do in Queensland, like it sort of goes directly from winter to summer. So you get this situation where you get a lot of sunshine, a lot of heat and really low humidities, and that plant's only got a small little root zone. So you really want to try and work on that and improve how you water those plants to get the best out of them. And over time, what you'll find is that plant will then start growing up, becoming a lot more healthy and a lot vigorous, and that's what's going to make really nice fruit over time. So that was a few little tips on irrigation, a really important part for your garden. Try and understand your plants and understand your soil and know when to water. And I think next time what we'll do is we'll focus on some plant health tips so that we can try and get you to get the best possible strawberries.